A very good evening to you. Thanks for joining us on the Thursday edition of the show. I'm Yemi Adebayo. Well, let me give you a quick rundown of what to expect on the show tonight. In Spain and in England, matches that are very important as to who plays in the Champions League and who wins the title are currently going on, and we will be talking about all of that as we move on the show. We'll continue with our countdown to the Olympics. Is very important. Just barely over 2 months to the Olympics. What's happening in Tokyo? What's happening with Team Nigeria? We'll give you all of that on the show. We'll broaden our scope. Talking about the Olympics, we'll look at Kenya's preparation as well. We'll do that for you. We'll come to the domestic scene, talk about what's happening in the Nigerian National League. After that, we'll also talk about England, football in England. We will look at, as we try to wrap things up towards the end, we'll look at the Italian Open. We'll look at two top players progressing to the last 8. That's basically the outlook of the show tonight. I want to invite you to sit back, relax, and be ready to enjoy all that we have lined up for you on the show tonight. Before I introduce my partners on the show tonight, let me quickly invite you in by allowing you have your say. And this is how you can do just that on the show tonight. You want to have your say. You want to talk about everything sports and in between. This is what you need to do. Sports Tonight at channelstv.com. You can send us a mail. You can get across to us on Facebook. That's channels-sports. Then, of course, on Twitter, our verified handle, @channels_sports. Talk to us on the show tonight. Okay, so that's it. Let me quickly introduce my partner in the Lagos studio, usually with me on Thursdays. Bolu Omori joins me tonight as we crisscross all the corners and everything in the world of sports. Bolu, thanks for joining me on the show tonight.
Yeah, good to be here again. Remember the game we used to play when we were younger, that they call I call on? When you hear a name, you just run. I think that's what's happening in the La Liga right now. When you hear I call on La Liga, it feels Barcelona, Madrid, and Atletico. Everybody just runs away from the title. But fortunately, Atletico took a step closer yesterday with their win. Now let's see what happens with Real Madrid. That game is probably started right now. But again, I don't trust any of them, probably until the final day. And finally, the United-Liverpool game is going on. After the old drama about a week ago, the drama even before the game started, but it's going on. Again, Olympics, hopefully, it's here to stay.
Hopefully. All right. We're going to give you live scores. You'll be your eyes and your ears, especially if you're not watching that game. We'll try to let you know what's going on. We'll save that for later. But I can quickly tell you for free that Liverpool and Manchester United, Bolu has one eye on what's going on right there. Yeah, that's it on your screen. First game of the day ended goalless. This one is live. Liverpool leading. Bolu was telling me earlier about a goal that needs to be checked. Wasn't counted.
It was given to Bruno later on, but it looked like an own goal. There's still debate on whether it's a goal or not, VAR controversies, penalty or not. But again, when the two biggest clubs in England face each other, this is definitely what you see. Goals and lots of different calls.
And I don't know about you, but I'm very happy it wasn't the negatives that is getting the headlines, because before the game, the pictures were seen all over.
Fans blocking Liverpool
we're not good.
Yeah.
We're not good, and nobody likes all of those things to be associated with fans because we love the beautiful game. All right, so that's it. We'll come back to that. We'll also tell you what's happening in Spain. Right about now, that game should have started. Will Real Madrid step up and close the gap between them and city rivals Atletico? We'll see. But first, let's continue our countdown with the Olympics. And let's just tell you, it's 71 days to the big one, talking about the Olympics. Let's give you an official confirmation of that as we go on. 71 days to the big one. That's talking about the Olympics. And usually, Bolu, you know my next question. Are you feeling the vibes? The voice is growing louder, we must say. In tennis, for instance, you're likely not going to see all the big stars, because they have hinted. Serena Williams, if you're not going to allow me to bring my daughter, I'm probably not going to come. Kei Nishikori, Naomi Osaka, despite being from Japan, are saying, look, there are other things to consider. Rafael Nadal says, normally in an Olympic year, I'll be telling you from January that I'm going to be at the Olympics, but now it appears all of them are giving us those kind of signals.
Well, one of the things we see when we hear situations like this, it's another opportunity for someone else, for a fresh player. The likes of Zverev and co. They'll probably want to go when they hear, okay,
Nadal is not
He
coming.
won't be there. Nadal will likely not go. Federer, we don't know. Djokovic, they'll feel this is another chance for me to step up and win something. Remember the ATP 500, sometimes ATP 1000, when those men are not there or when they lose early, they fight hard to get to semi-final and even win the event. So that's probably good news for some of them. But again, at least as of now, the Olympics will host in the next 71 days. So either some athletes pull out or no. I think amongst all, I understand Serena's own. Our girl is still young, and I can't be running away from my child because of a tournament. If you can't let me take my child, but again, if Osaka is not going, if Serena is not going, it means there's another opportunity for probably a fresh winner. And who knows, the winner of the Olympics this year may be the next biggest star in tennis.
All right, so that's it. Let's leave it at that for now. Bolu, let's talk about Team Nigeria. Of course, plans have been unveiled. We now know how the team is going to camp. Everything will be starting on June 23rd. The plans to be in Kizorazu. And for all that you can say about Team Nigeria's preparation, at least now we're getting an idea of how everything will pan out, how the team, there's been an outline of how the stages of the preparations, and a lot of people are very skeptical about what they think Nigeria can do at the Olympics. But the Ministry of Youth and Sports has unveiled a comprehensive plan for Team Nigeria towards podium success. Podium success is what a lot of people are saying. Let's just go there and participate. According to the roadmap, the final stage of camping will commence from May 15 to July 23rd in Bielsa. Then, of course, from June 23rd to June 22 to 26, another stage of all of that. The last phase will be in Kizorazu from July 3rd to 23. All right. So, I mean, in phases, there's nothing you can say. We find ourselves in a situation where you have to make most of the current situation, but we just hope for the best.
First off, they have to sort some internal federations, different problems they have, because it's telling on the players. I think a few days ago, Wednesday or Tuesday, some of the athletes complained that 2 of the coaches that were dropped shouldn't have been dropped.
Okay.
That one of them has 10 players amongst them, 10 athletes, one of them have more. But the coaches that were picked, some of them that went to them are probably like 1 or 2 players. You can't compare someone with 10 players to another with just 1 or 2. So there are already problems internally. I remember the cancellation of board, suspension, dissolving. So there are even too many problems in Team Nigeria before the Olympics. And again, one thing I keep telling people is, I love the athletics wrestling federation. They don't get themselves too much in wuru controversy or whatever. They just do their thing. Look, They are literally the only one I can maybe boast of that. We will maybe get something. I'm not assuring that we'll get gold, but I think wrestling are the ones that to a level minus the Paralympians. Those ones, every Paralympic tournament there's guaranteed trophy medals there. But for the main events, the preparation is wrong. The preparation is late. And now the issue of the federations, we don't even know what we are doing. Remember the athletics, the relays, we don't even know what's going on. If they will be representing Nigeria or not. So too many off the field, off the track problems are still going on. But again, 71 days still looks a bit far, just over 2 months. If they can sort everything out, and it still boils down to athletes, their personal preparations and everything.
I don't know if this is putting you on the spot. 80 athletes in 10 games. How many medals do you think we can win?
We will do better than last Olympics. Let me put it that way.
Came back with nothing.
So that's why I said we'll do better. If we win just 1 bronze medal, that's better. But again, one of the challenges I have was cutting down so many athletes that let's focus on
those who can win.
Because you don't know who will win any Olympic. Remember, I think we spoke with Ligali here one time, and he said about 90 years before he represented Canada, no gold medal. And since he won in, I think, 99, no other person.
Yet to win.
I'm sure they've been great athletes as well, but sometimes it depends on your opponent. So you can underrate someone. We've seen athletes, was it the last African Games that Mekebo, nobody thought he would probably be anyone that we will be talking about. But suddenly went to the event, it was outstanding. Now he's one of those we are hoping to get medals from. So sometimes you don't underrate athletes thinking because they are not the best.
All right.
Anything can happen.
All right. I think we just have to pause on some of the things we were saying about the Olympics. Would save it for the later part of the show. Let's allow George Essien join us on the show as we talk about Van Dresa and, of course, Nigeria National League. First, greetings to you, George. Thanks for taking out time to be with us on the show tonight.
Thank you very much, Tayo. It's always a pleasure to be here.
All right. You're speaking to Yemi, but I know it's easy to get. I know it's easy to get the names. It's easy to get the names muddled. I understand. Okay, so George, a lot of us were, a lot of people were very happy when all the matters were looked at and resolved. And like they say, all is well that ends well. We have Van Dresa back in the fold, and it just happens to be the first time we're having this conversation. Now that you're back on this show, I guess, on Sports Tonight. So let me just ask, everything resolved now and you feel we wouldn't find ourselves back on that issue again?
I don't think so. We shook hands with the NNL just a day before we announced our return to the NNL. And I mean, most of what they've done, or probably all of what they've done right after we announced our withdrawal, has shown that they really mean well for the league, and they also support innovations. And that's what we're all about innovations, about changing the game, about bringing development to Nigerian football, and about growing a brand that, Nigerians will be proud of. So NNL supports that, and hopefully we don't envisage that we're going to have any trouble anytime soon.
All right. Let me also ask you, a lot of people are also interested. I think you've played about a game or two after you decided to get back into the fold. So a lot of people want to ask about compliance. Are you having any issues? Are you being welcomed with open arms, allowing you to put your cameras wherever, beam your games live? Have you had any issues after coming back?
No issues. No issues at all. Incidentally, we had a game away at Iyamo where, in fact, the guy was asking, how many, do you have 12 cameras? Bring them on. And then we had a game at home against Shooting Stars. So no issue with compliance. It's been smooth sailing. In terms of broadcasts, well, we have to do a lot more on the pitch. I thought you were coming to that because
exactly.
Coming back.
That will be my next port of call. What would be Van Dresa's target now? Is it maintaining your status in the National League? Obviously that would be the most sensible approach. But as an inside man, you would know the direction the club wants to go. But from where I stand, I would think that the most important thing now is to retain your status.
That's right. To make sure we beat the drop, and which we're very confident we're going to do. And just keep growing the club, keep strengthening it. It's been a new look side. There's an injection of players recently. We have a new coach, so these things are going to take time. But anything can happen. We're just 9 points away from the second place team. We still have about 10 games to go, so there's a lot that could still happen. But most importantly, just make sure we maintain our status in the NNL. And when we look at it, though, what's even in the NPFL except maybe the opportunity, so to say. You have a wide opportunity there to go to African competitions. But what is the attraction? There's no prize money. If there is, I'm not sure it will be able to cater to, just 1 month of bills of VFC. You have bad roads everywhere. People cannot move. The NNL has even afforded us opportunity to just restrict our movement to our zone. In the NPFL, you would have to travel far and wide. And, with all the attendant issues right now in Nigeria, NPFL is not really an attraction for us. We could stay in the NNL. We know we will, be in. We'll beat the drop. and then continue with the innovations, continue impacting, continue doing the things that we've been doing, come next season.
Let me say this. I'm very sure you probably heard this from a couple of your friends or people. A lot of people commend you guys with what you're doing on social media, with what you're doing with your club. But some accuse you of not putting the same amount of effort on the football team. I don't know if you disagree with that or it's something you're looking at.
Well, if the fans tell us that they need more, I remember when we lost to Shooting Stars, we played one of our best games of the season. In fact, the coach of Shooting Stars confirmed that it was a very tough one for them. They scored in the 92nd minute. The fans came out and some even said, all we know how to do is brand and all that. So we understand that there's that anger and there's a need to do as much as you're doing, off the pitch, do it on the pitch as well. But the management, in all fairness, has given everything, brought a new coach. We've signed some new players. The coach is always given free hand. They have the best of welfare. The players are not complaining about anything. And it's just about, probably trying to get a team. The team has been through phases and it will take a while to just cement a strong and quality team. But if you have seen our last 2 games, you'd know that VFC is a much improved side from 4 games ago or 5 games ago. Surely we are putting everything. The players, they travel in the best of conditions. So we actually are putting that, but it's not showing. And that's why we're still even putting extra effort in getting a new coach, getting more players. I mean, what more do you want a management to do? It's just left for the players right now and the new coach, Tony Bowles, to just give us that remaining percentage of what people want, what the fans want, what my colleagues want, what the world wants as well. And by God's grace, I think we can be able to synchronize that, starting with our game against stationery stores on Saturday.
All right. Last one before I let you go. I know you're a very busy man. Are there any plans to... I don't know why this is coming to my mind. Lagos fans are very demanding, and I know you've had encounters with them recently. What are your plans? You're remaining in Lagos, or all options are still on the table?
I mean, we're in Lagos for now. We're in Lagos. We're still tenants. Okay. The ultimate is to have our own stadium, which we're working on. The location will be made known. When you talk about situating a stadium, we have to look at many things. So it could be anywhere in the country. That's for sure. But for now, short term, we're in Lagos, and who knows what's going to happen in a couple of years. So we're in Lagos. No up and down for now. We need to steady and make sure we build that team that you're talking about. Right. And get things right. But we're gonna have a stadium, hopefully in some few years, and it could be anywhere. That's all I can say for now.
All right, George Essen, I want to thank you for your time. It was fun having this chat with you. Hopefully, we'll do this again some other time.
Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you. Have a nice evening.
Yeah, and you as well. So we've been chatting with the communication director of Van Ressa Football Club. And of course, they're back, and all the stories we've heard in the past, it seems everything has been laid to rest, and they can't continue with some of the innovations they're trying to bring into football. We need to go on a break right about now. When we return from that break, we'll talk everything football and also give you a slice of tennis. Join us again. All right, welcome back. So before we move on, let's give you the situation report in England and in Spain. Let's show to you, in spite of all the negative headlines, Liverpool seem to be flying now. Second half just resumed, 49 minutes of football played. It's actually 3-1 now. We'll update that. It's 3-1 now. Liverpool have scored. And so the other game has ended earlier in the day, Aston Villa and Everton. Yeah, and of course, this one also is going on live. Luka Modric got a goal for Real Madrid. Bolu, you were saying 18 or 2 about this game. Maybe a lot of the fans hear what you have to say, that if Real Madrid wins this, a lot of people will be praising Zinedine Zidane for his bravery.
The lineup, the fullbacks are young boys. I think roughly seen as the Miguel. There were reports that Marcelo had issues with Zidane and he was dropped from the lineup. So the young Miguel is on the left, and the Yoruba, Japanese, Spanish boy on the right. That's Marvin Olawale Park. Then up front is Rodrigo Vinicius on the wings, Benzema obviously up front. Then in the middle there's still Valverde there. So I think he has found a way to. Zidane is the definition of injury is not an excuse. Make use of whatever you have. Remember, many Liverpool fans gave excuse of Van Dijk got injured. I'm like, that's one man. Real Madrid's first choice back four. They've only played together 6 times this season, and they've played over 50 games. It's been shuffling. So that's what you should do. If you can buy, all well and good. If you can't buy, find a way to sort it out in your team. And I think they're doing well. Incidentally, it was Miguel that assisted the first goal. A cheap pass that Modric, at his age, still running around the field. So I think good one for them. If they win this game after 90 minutes, it means it will, at least for now, be a battle between the two capital clubs. But weekend again, anything can still happen.
All right, so we'll leave it at that for now. So let's move on. Of course, we will interrupt at different times. If there's anything to tell you, we'll revert back to the games currently going on because they have a bearing on how the season will end. All right, let's allow Segun Jegede join us now as we take a look at some of the things happening. Greetings to you, Segun. Thanks for being with us on the show tonight.
Good evening, Yemi. Thanks for having me. Always a pleasure to be on here.
All right. Let's just start this conversation talking about Porto, final destination of the UEFA Champions League final after Turkey, the city of Istanbul, had issues with allowing people from England into the country. But you're based in England. There were calls for UEFA to, since it's an all-English final, why not allow it to be played in Wembley or in some other venue? So were you part of those who thought UEFA was going to listen to that, or when the rumor started making the rounds, you knew it was always going to be Porto?
Well, I wasn't sure where they were going to hold it, but I know that there will be a lot of bids in there coming in for the Champions League final. And as you can imagine, there'll be other countries and other venues that will want to host the final as well. And in the end, UEFA decided to choose Portugal it is, so we have to take it the way it is.
Okay, all right. So I'll get back to you on that. I want to quickly ask Bolu if you had any other thoughts. There were calls. A lot of people say it's a non-English final. Why not? So are you surprised at the choice of Porto, even though it's been in the news a couple of days?
Even with the violence controversy in England, I don't even think UEFA will want that. It's more of probably they thought 2 English teams are in the final already. That's probably enough fan base, more money for England. Then let's look at somewhere. But I want to believe there's always a backup plan. If this is where we want to host the final, but maybe they always have a backup plan in case of anything, whatever reason, let's go here. The talks of, I didn't think they would go to Wembley initially. Most of the time, yeah, they've hosted, Wembley have hosted 2 finals, I think, in the last 10 years, so I don't think they would have gone to Wembley. Maybe another stadium in England, but again, they would have checked many options, weighed every possible angles, and remember, it's the Champions League final, different persons want to be there. And England, I think they still have some restrictions about something. So just like they say, look, just day or day. Let's move to where we won't have restrictions and everything. So Porto, it is at least, if Porto didn't win the league, they can probably still host and celebrate something.
Okay. All right. So maybe we'll even see some pictures of the city of Porto. So for the fans, some of them have bought tickets. I mean, it's a lovely place to be. Even before the announcement was made, a lot of English fans said, look, we're going to leave on Wednesday. We're going to come back on Sunday. So they already had those plans, and Portugal is welcoming them with open arms. And so we'll see what happens, but that's the decision UEFA has made. All right, let's leave that and go to the English Premier League and talk about Pep Guardiola. Guys, I want you to listen to what Pep Guardiola had to say about his chairman, attributing the success of the club to the chairman. We'll listen to him and come back to dissect what he said. And, of course, a lot of people have attributed the success of Manchester City to Pep Guardiola. But here's Pep Guardiola attributing the success of the club to the club's chairman.
What I found well, I had the feeling in sometimes in other clubs and other. I would not say because I've always been supportive in Barcelona and in Bayern Munich, but I had the feeling that the manager always been supportive when you have success. And I cannot forget now my first season here, where I didn't win anything, the behavior of my chairman. And I cannot forget the big disappointment personally against Lyon, the support I had from my chairman. And that's why it's part of our success. It's absolutely dedicated to him, to support me, like me support my backroom staff because I support them, and of course the players to continue to do it. Saying that, now we have 3 weeks ahead of us to prepare a dream come true, to play the final Champions League. And yeah, the show must go on next season. So we're
All right. Very gracious of him. A lot of people attributed success to him. Now he's pointing to the direction. Shek, I want to get your thoughts. You've probably had heard this even before he said it. And you think the club should share part of whatever accolades going Pep's way for what, the transformation happening at Manchester City?
Absolutely. And without the club, there's no coach, there's no footballers, and probably there will be no titles. You have to go back to when City started being owned by foreign owners, and then the current owners came in, and they've put their money where their mouth is. They've spent a lot of money. They've got into the right backroom staff, the right footballers, right to the academy setting. They've spent a lot of money and they've done a lot of research. I remember when they first came to Manchester United, Manchester City, some Manchester United fans were saying things like noisy neighbors, which is, this is where the fun in football comes out. But I don't think that saying, lasted for so long, because right now everybody sees what Manchester City have done. They've spent a lot of money. They've done a lot of research. They've helped, football in Manchester as a whole. They've employed a lot of people. So they only deserve the accolades. If you've put your money where your mouth is, whatever comes out of it, you deserve it. And they've really, really, really done well. So kudos to the owners of Manchester City.
Okay, what chunk of the praise should go to Pep then?
Well, I mean, they love that, as a manager, you're only as good as your last game. So a lot of the accolades should actually go to him, because with all the money spent and all the researches and all the backup they've given it, if you had bought the wrong players, if you had, taken wrong decisions, there will be no, right now they won't be a good position. They've won the Premier League and they're going to the Champions League final. That is really good, and they've won another cup. So whatever it is you want to say, you have to, give the coach the accolade. If you win the title, the accolade belongs to you. If you don't win the title and you've got a lot of money that has been spent on the team itself, then people will come out and blame the coach. So he's done really, really well. He deserves a lot of accolades himself.
All right. Let me go to Bolu. This issue is a hot potato. Divides opinion. A lot of people will say no, doesn't deserve it. He has good players, but I think it was very gracious of him to bring the owners into the picture and not try to bask in the euphoria of what he's done. But I don't know what you feel about this. Is it even an issue we should be discussing? Because he is a good manager, irrespective of how you feel about him.
I tell people, if you think football is okay, I saw the quote from Omar. I said, if you think football is why Pep's team play like this, then I can't help you. Because we know lots of managers who every manager spend money. It's interesting, people will tell you Pep has spent for Man City, but they won't tell you Klopp has spent for Liverpool. They won't tell you Mourinho spent a lot for Man United. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has spent over 300 million for Manchester United. What's his name? Thomas Tuchel spent over 400 million for PSG in a team that already had Neymar, Di Maria, and so every manager spent. Gone are the days where everyone gives you time to grow and no. Remember Pep mentioned even in his first year, I think one of the reasons why he could have been sacked after going trophyless in his first year. So they believed him in, and the fact that, okay, I want this, they allowed him sign. Remember Mourinho's latter years, it was like, he kept complaining, I want to sign some players, and Woodward and coach said, no, you've signed enough. So it's a combination of everybody together, both the owners who decide to drop the money, believing, okay, the manager will do the right thing, and the manager finding the balance in the squad. Almost all through the season, his two strikers got injured. Then they found ways to play without them. Even when when they recovered, he had no reason to play them because they were scoring goals, they were winning well without the strikers. He brought in Diaz to defense. Now they've considered 26 goals in, and there are about 2 games left, and they can't concede. I don't think they will concede 4 goals in the last 2 games, so they'll probably concede under 30 at the end of it. So it's a combination of everyone, and at the same time, the players understand the tactics. No matter what you do, if the players don't understand or interpret it well, you still come back to where so many managers are. So it's a combination of the owners of the club, the board, and its backroom staff. If he's seeing everything in the right direction, if the backroom staff are not, it's a problem. Look at Arteta. And Arteta was a part of his backroom staff. He worked well until he joined Arsenal. Everybody thought, yeah, he's the next Pep. And it's also, everyone is working together. It's working well for everyone. And the patience. Many readers, many football fans will keep telling you, Pep needs to win Champions League. He should have sacked him without winning quarterfinal, but they kept faith in him. Now they're in the final. They've not won it yet. Nothing is won until you play.
Yeah.
But the fact that they believed in him to let him stay till this moment, I think they also deserve that credit, but you can't take it away from Pep. Because if they are not winning, people will remember the owners. People will not even think of the players to be the manager.
I agree. All right. Let's listen to another manager who everybody agrees is doing well. Brendan Rodgers, Leicester City manager, urging his players to make history. Go on and win the FA Cup. If you're in the final, you have a chance to win. Let's listen to Brendan Rodgers. I'll take the thoughts of Segun and, of course, Bolu. And, of course, we'll also look at Nigerian players in England, how they've been affected with the promotion and relegation to the English Premier League.
Jeff, sometimes when you get to finals, teams can maybe be, not in really good form. They might be sat mid-table, lower in the table, and then they end up in a cup final. Our team, it's different. We've been consistent. They're playing really well over a period of time. And this has been the next step for us. And these weeks, you've always got to stay calm. We've always tried to ensure the preparation for every game is huge. But of course, this is a game where you can create an incredible legacy. And, you write your own story in these games.
All right, let me go to Segun. Listen to Brendan Rodgers. Win or lose, it's been a good season for Leicester City. And it's very hard now to say they are not part of the top 6 on the strength of their performance in the last 3 seasons. But I want to ask you, listen to the manager, what are the things that would happen in the remainder of the season that will make you call this season a huge success for the Foxes?
Well, it's been a huge success for them already. When you have the likes of Kelechi Iheanacho banging in goals, he's now coming to his full potential. I think it's been about 3 to 4 years now that he's been trying to get to that pinnacle. But Brendan Rodgers has been able to get him out of, wherever situation he's been in, make him a top-notch player. Now they can actually say there's somebody that can replace, Vardy, because Vardy is, well, even though he's becoming of age, but he's still going strong. But at the same time, he needs the younger players to step up to the plate. And Kelechi Iheanacho has done that. If you look at Brendan Rodgers' history from different clubs where he's been, he's had a very, very good track record. So he's only, now that a lot of people are beginning to realize that he doesn't have to go to a very, very big team for him to show what he is capable of doing. He's got people like Kolo Toure as his backroom staff. And if you remember, Kolo Toure played for Arsenal, went to Manchester City, was part of the backroom staff in Manchester City, I believe, at some point as well. Now he's with Brendan Rodgers. And so Brendan has really done a good job. I feel they have a very good chance to win the FA Cup. But even if they don't do that, they've done really, really well for themselves, and they can, be assured that they're right on top of the big boys of Premiership football right now. So next season, they'll buy more players. I'm sure the owners will back Brendan Rodgers, and everything will be going very, very well, I presume.
But there's that vacant seat at Tottenham. You think Tottenham could be able to lure him? He said he's not interested, though. But, since we're talking about next season, you think there's a chance that he might leave?
Well, in life and in football, you never say never. There's always a price for everything. But if you were to take Brendan Rodgers away from Leicester City, you have to have a solid plan in place. You have, the kind of backing and structure that is put in place in Leicester City. Is Daniel Levy going to really do that? I'm not sure what the structure is like in that kind of circumstance. But when you look at football, you look at the structure, you look at the player, you look at the ethos of the manager, you look at the full structure of the club. So those are the things that you want to look at. Fine, that vacancy position is there, but is Brendan Rodgers willing to go there? We'll have to find out. But at the same time, a lot of things have to happen. There'll be compensation that will go to Leicester City. Is Brendan Rodgers, is he willing to abandon the project he's been doing there? And what does Tottenham have to offer? So right about now, I believe he'll be concentrating on the cup final. He's about to go into. He'll be hoping he can win it. So those are my thoughts on that. We have to wait till next season to see how things pan out.
All right. Okay. Let me come to Bolu. And same question, basically. Is there any other thing that needs to happen before we say it's been a successful season for Leicester?
Like what Shago said, I think they are successful already. Nobody expected this much from them. Remember last season, they were close to making the Champions League until the pandemic came, and they were among those that were affected post-pandemic. Now they are not there yet, but they are getting close to making the Champions League. And so it's more like he rightly said, what are their plans? What are his own plans, personal plans? Leaving for Spurs means it's more like starting afresh. But we don't know what Spurs will look like next season. We don't know if Harry Kane will remain. Why will I probably leave where I think we are growing steady to where I will start?
You're going to play Champions League. You're not sure you're going to play.
Exactly. We don't even know. Spurs are hustling to make Europa League. So it's more like his own personal ambition. But he left Celtics where he was close to winning his treble. Well, he decided to join Leicester project now. So it depends on his own, in their personal plans or agenda. But for now, if Leicester makes the Champions League, why will I leave Champions League to go and coach Europa League? Except the money is too good for him to reject.
Okay. All right. Let me quickly go to Shegun before we go on a break. We're going to go on a break in a minute or two. But let's quickly talk about Big Sam and, of course, the Fulham manager, Big Sam having a Nigerian, and, of course, Fulham having Scott Parker having one or two Nigerians. But unfortunately, they're the ones affected with this. Well, one or two Nigerians will be coming into the Premier League. But, it's a mix, it's a mixed bag for Nigerian players.
Well, I remember right on this show, we spoke about Sam Allardyce not being, he's never been relegated before. Well, I guess we spoke too soon. Now he's tasting relegation for the very first time. But I believe he's the right person to take them back up if the owners of West Brom support him. We've got Semir Ajayi there and a couple of other players that have come on loan. He really tried for the club, but I reckon it was a bit too late when he got there and things didn't really go according to plan. The Premiership is a very, very solid and difficult platform to play football. So everybody's always on the strut. Everybody's ready to play football. So that was a mountain too high for him to climb. And when you go to Fulham as well, Fulham, they will have the funds to bounce back as well. But, there's a couple of Nigerians there as well trying to, do their stuff. And next season, we have to see how they sort of come back, because it's going to be very, very hard in the Championship. And perhaps maybe they might go to other Premiership clubs, because when a club gets relegation, there's different clauses in players' contracts that will have been looked at. So perhaps maybe they may not be there for next season. But we have to wait and see. All right. At the end of the day, football is about competition. Some people have to rise to the occasion, and sometimes it's not easy for others to sort of match up. But we'll see how things pan out next season.
All right. Definitely we'll see how things pan out. Shegun Jegede, I want to thank you for your time on the show today. It's been fun having you. Hopefully we'll do this some other time.
Thanks for having me. Thank you. Have a nice evening. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Bye.
All right. So that's our friend Shegun Jegede saying it the way it is. Talk about Nigerians and everything happening in the English Premier League. We need to go on a break right about now. When we return, we'll give you the results from the matches currently going on, and we spare a thought for tennis. Join us again. All right, welcome back. We're in the home stretch, and of course, we will, like we promised, be your eyes and ears in all the places where football matches are currently going on, just to let you know what is happening in those places. And of course, some of those matches will determine how the season ends. In some cases, determine who wins the league. In some cases, help to determine the placement of some of the teams. So let's start with England. This is what is currently going on in England. As you have it on your screen, 73 minutes of football played at Old Trafford. It's 3-2 in favour of Liverpool. Roughly about 17 minutes left to play. With this result, it's going to be difficult for Everton, after playing a draw with Aston Villa, to leapfrog, some of the teams they thought they were going to get past and get into the, get in with a shout for the UEFA Champions League place. For Liverpool, it's good. We always knew what they wanted to do was keep winning their games and trust that this will, happen elsewhere for them.
It could have been 4 goals up. They could have been 4-1. They've missed chances. Diego Jota missed the chance. Mo Salah, even right back Trent Arnold, they could have probably scored 4-1 or 5-1. But again, in football, the more you keep missing chances, you give your opponent better opportunity to get the goal. And Rashford got the second goal for United. Now it's more of get one more goal. And Liverpool need this game because if they fail to win, if they win this one, they will be 6 points behind Leicester. Mm-hmm. And if they win their other outstanding game, they will close the gap. It means they have to win this one. But again, maybe because I like Senior Mankels, I like Wilfred Ndidi. I don't like Manchester United, but if they win, all well and good, better chances for Leicester. But again, it's football. And fiability in football is very important. Mm-hmm. We've seen, what's his name, Lewandowski scored 5 goals in 9 minutes. It means every second in football is very important. So I think the competition is getting interesting. And the Real Madrid game, the young Rodrigo got the second goal for them before the break. So I think football is getting interesting. Like you rightly said in your intro, fight for title in Spain and fight for top 4 in England. And one is fighting for food, one is fighting for soul. So everything is getting much more interesting. I think till the last day, we may end up waiting for Leicester may confirm their third Champions League if they beat Chelsea in their cup game, league game next week, maybe. But the last slot may wait till the final day, and that's what we want. It's not final day of let's fulfill numbers. Final day of intense competition because some 1 or 2 slots will still be available, both in the Champions League and the Europa League.
All right, that's a good place to leave it on the show tonight. Of course, let's just tell you that Novak Djokovic and Rafael Nadal, you saw from the highlights, advanced to the last 8 at the Italian Open. Of course, we don't have time to show you all of that and talk about it, but that's just the news. Those 2 guys are moving on strong at the Italian Open. So we've crossed the finish line on the show, but first I want to thank Bolu Omoni for his time on the show today. Hopefully we'll do this again.
Yeah, definitely. Always a pleasure being around.
All right. Thank you for allowing us to be a part of your day. We enjoy this, and as we always say, it's a privilege we will never take for granted. Thank you once again. I'm Yemi Adebayo. Bye-bye now.